What if a single dawn assault on fortified shores shattered the unbreakable fortress of Europe? Imagine thousands storming blood-soaked sands under a hail of steel, where every wave could be your last. But how did this audacious gamble unfold? And could freedom's forces pierce the Atlantic Wall? It was June 6, 1944, D-Day. Over 156,000 Allied troops, supported by 5,000 ships and 11,000 aircraft, launched Operation Overlord to liberate Nazi-occupied France. Supreme Allied Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower bet everything on a massive deception campaign, creating phantom armies to fool the Germans into thinking the invasion would strike elsewhere. And the German commander tasked with defending the coast, Erwin Rommel? He was away, celebrating his wife's birthday. The Desert Fox was caught completely off guard. As midnight struck, the invasion began from the sky. 24,000 paratroopers and airborne infantry plunged into the darkness behind enemy lines. Their mission was to seize key bridges, roads, and batteries to disrupt German communications and prevent reinforcements from reaching the coast. But what happens when meticulous plans meet the chaos of war? Thick fog and withering anti-aircraft fire scattered the troopers far from their intended drop zones. Heroes found themselves alone, disoriented, and hunted in the dark. Yet, small groups rallied, improvising to complete their objectives against overwhelming odds. As dawn broke, the true scale of the invasion was revealed. A vast armada, the largest in history, materialized off the French coast. 5 beaches, codenamed Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, and Sword, awaited the assault. The German defenders, hunkered down in their concrete fortifications known as the Atlantic Wall, prepared to unleash hell. Omaha Beach became a horrifying slaughterhouse. As the landing craft ramps dropped, soldiers were met with a storm of machine gun fire and artillery shells. The first waves of men were mowed down in the surf, their bodies staining the tide red. The cliffs, which were supposed to be neutralized by pre-invasion bombing, were alive with bunkers spitting death. 4 hours, the attack stalled, teetering on the brink of catastrophic failure. Yet, driven by raw valor and sheer desperation, small units of men began to push forward. In one of the most legendary feats of the day, US Army Rangers scaled the sheer cliffs of Pointe du Hoc under intense fire to silence the massive German guns that threatened the entire fleet. The suspense was immense. While Utah Beach fell relatively swiftly, the Canadians at Juno faced brutal resistance, battling house to house through seaside towns. On Golden Sword, British forces fought their way inland against fierce opposition. The critical question hung in the balance. Could the separate beachheads link up and form a solid front before the Germans could organize a powerful counterattack? What happens when an unstoppable invasion force meets an iron defense? By the end of that first long day, the Allies had secured a fragile foothold in Normandy. The brutal grind through the hedgerows of northern France would last for weeks, a meat grinder campaign that would test the limits of endurance and courage. Hitler's invincible wall had been breached, proving to be more of a crumbling sandcastle against the tide of liberation. D-Day wasn't just a landing, it was the brutal, bloody spark that ignited the final chapter of the war in Europe. It was a testament to meticulous planning, unparalleled bravery, and the unifying power of a common cause. From these blood-soaked shores, an eternal lesson rises. Freedom has a price, and D-Day showed the world what courage can achieve when it storms the very gates of tyranny. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more epic stories from history, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel.